Part 12. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Crispone. Chapter 111. Chapter 111 The Old Lady of the Feng Family. Pei Anzu moved the two heavens according to the exercises he learned in his previous life. Then she discovered that the spiritual energy was flowing smoothly through her body, without any sense of ambiguity, as if she had walked through it once before. At that moment, she seemed to have returned to her previous life, when she first entered the path of cultivation. She even had the feeling that this body is her own body. Suppressing the doubts in her heart for the time being, she continued to run her exercises and practice with the help of this huge spiritual energy. At the same time, she couldn't help but sigh. This trip is really worth it. Originally, I agreed to the marriage and the wedding just to repay the favor. I didn't expect that the feudal family would have such a good thing. It was a surprise. If she lives here from now on, why worry about her lack of spiritual energy cultivation? Now she is glad that she did not reject the Pei family and agreed to the Pei family's conditions, otherwise she would not know how long it would take to find this good place. One drink and one peck are all determined by heaven. The car continued to drive for nearly 20 minutes, and then arrived at the second door. This is the gate located outside the Feng family's residence. Only when you enter this door can you enter the scope of the Feng family's residence. Pei Anzu sat in the car and looked towards the Feng family's residence. However, I saw that the gate was built very broad and domineering. Whether it was the material or the style, it was full of nobility and luxury, making people feel awe at the first sight. Behind the gate is the endless green bricks and black tiles, and the corridor. That is an antique building. The Feng family house was passed down from ancestors and has been here for hundreds of years. After generations of repairs, expansions, and optimizations, while retaining the heritage and framework of the ancient house, it also maintains modern convenience and efficiency. There is still a guard box at the second door, with guards and bodyguards inside. They followed the rules and asked the master for instructions before opening the second door and letting them in. At the same time, there were servants in uniform behind the door, riding small electric donkeys, leading the way. The very wide and neat roads built are hidden under the shade of trees that block out the sun from the outside. It is absolutely impossible to tell that vehicles can still drive here. After another 5 or 6 minutes, the servant stopped and the third door arrived. Mrs. Pei, Miss Pei, please. The servant first parked the electric donkey, then came over to help them open the door, and then said, "The old lady's residence is here." Pei Anzu got out of the car and looked up. In front of him was a 5-story house. There are 3 words written on the plaque, Jingfanyuan. It looks like a Buddhist place, but Pei Anzu doesn't comment on it. The third door is the gate of Jingfanyuan. The servant went up and rang the doorbell, and then someone opened the door and invited Zhou Yelan and Pei Anzu in. As for the driver Chen Sirui, he is naturally not eligible to enter. A servant will take him to a special place to drink tea and wait until the master comes out after discussing the matter. Pei Anzu was walking in the courtyard full of ancient charm, feeling a little dazed for a moment. It's like returning to the original world. The servant brought Zhou Yelan and Pei Anzu to the main hall, and served tea. After waiting for about a few minutes, the old lady of the Feng family came in with the help of the servant. This is an old man with a plump appearance and a kind-hearted look. He had a warm smile on his face and an elegant and gentle temperament. He walked over at a leisurely pace, without the slightest hint of arrogance from a powerful family. The whole person looks like a kind old lady from the neighbor's house, without any sense of distance. Only those eyes are completely different. Even though she is over 70 years old, there is no cloudiness in her eyes that belongs to the elderly. Instead, she is still clear, transparent, and wise, as if she can see through people at a glance. This is the precipitation brought to her by the years, and it is also a gift accumulated from experience. And in this clarity, there is a hint of edge hidden. This is the true posture of the former leader of a top wealthy and powerful family. Even if the lion is lying down lazily, it is still a ferocious beast. Whenever a young person dares to act arrogantly in front of her, she will jump up, stretch out her claws, reveal her sharp teeth, and bite the other person's throat. Sorry, I haven't been in a good mood lately. I got up a little late and kept you waiting. The old lady of the Feng family walked up to them and greeted them with a smile. Then, she sat down on the soft chair belonging to the host's house, her posture calm. You say you are sorry, but you don't feel sorry at all in your actions. The former is the courtesy of a wealthy family, and the latter is the confidence of a wealthy family. Old lady, you're welcome. Zhou Yelan didn't dare to touch Jiao in front of the old lady of the Feng family. Even though she was pampered by her family since childhood, and continued to be pampered by Pei Jinchang after she got married, she did not dare to show her innocent and willful temper in front of the old lady. She restrained her authenticity and worked hard to be a qualified wealthy lady. Today we have taken the liberty of interrupting and disturbing the old lady's morning dream. Please don't take offense to the old lady. These are just a few thoughts, please accept the old lady. After hearing this, Pei Anzu counted the time. They set off from Pei's house at around 8 o'clock. It was already 10 o'clock when they arrived here, and the sun was already high. How dare they say morning dream? It can be seen that even in modern society where everyone is said to be equal, there are still clear class distinctions. The old lady of the Feng family took a look at the gift brought by Zhou Yelan. It was expensive and exquisite. But she had seen a lot, so she only glanced at it lightly and then smiled. You have your heart in mind, but there is no need to be so polite. When your daughter gets married, and we get married in the future, we will be considered one family. The old lady of the Feng family said she was a family, which was polite. Zhou Yelan didn't dare to really regard herself as a family member. She echoed in fear, then pulled Pei Anzu over and introduced. Old madam, this is my little girl Anzu. Pei Anzu, what a good name. The old lady waved to Pei Anzu, come here and let me take a look. Before coming to the Feng family, Pei Anzu's idea was to just deal with it casually. But after seeing the rich spiritual energy all over the mountain, she didn't think so. She decided to follow Zhou Yelan's advice, establish a good relationship with the old lady, and obtain the permission to live in the mountain. This is a major event related to whether she can ascend again and shatter the void. So with a decent smile on her face, she walked over and said hello to the old lady of the Feng family. Hello, old madam, I am Pei Anzu. The old lady of the Feng family is well informed. She has seen many different kinds of people in her life, including innocent, stupid, smart, vicious, and she has summed up her own set of experiences in understanding people. It is said that the eyes are the windows to the soul. It is correct to look at the eyes first when looking at a person. As for Pei Anzu, his eyes were clear and peaceful, and he was calm and fearless. She did not show any desire or envy because of the Feng family's wealth, nor did she show any resistance or impatience because she was forced to marry. It is extraordinary for a young girl in her 20s to have such magnanimity. The smile on the face of the old lady of the Feng family became more real, and even her eyes became softer. She took Pei Anzu's hand, took off the jade bracelet on her wrist, and put it on her. She's a nice girl. In the final analysis, I forced you to marry the daughter of the Pei family. If you don't complain or hate, or get angry, and have such a stable mind, you are worthy of my grandson. When Zhou Yelan heard this, her face was filled with joy. It's done. The old lady of the Feng family seems to have a very good impression of Anzu. In this case, the interests of the Feng family may be closer in the future. Dear readers, let me explain to you why the heroine chooses to get married. Mild spoilers. First, people in Taoism value cause and effect. She thought she had taken possession of the original owner's body and owed her debt. Now that the original owner's parents came to her door, she had to pay it back. Second, Ascension requires breaking off the world. Although she came from another world, she is connected with the original owner. To a certain extent, she is the original owner. She has to repay her kindness and break her ties to Earth before she can ascend smoothly. Third, as a Suanman boss, she is not forced, but voluntary. Because marriage is a relatively cost-effective thing for her, and it is something she finds acceptable after careful consideration. Otherwise, if the Pei family asks her to do other things, it may be more embarrassing for her than marriage. The above are the reasons why the heroine chooses to get married. P.S. In addition, those who like to read metaphysical fortune-telling, catch ghosts, and exorcise evil spirits, don't worry. Marrying someone is just an overkill. It is a reason for the heroine to change the map and upgrade. There are very few marriage and love scenes, and the hero is just a vegetative background lying on the bed. The heroine is pitiful, and the heroine purely pursues a career path, which does not affect her eventual ascension. P.S. Again. Many treasures choose to abandon the article just because the heroine wants to get married. They say that she, a big boss, is forced to get married, which is stupid or something. In fact, it is not true. Woohoo, so sad. This does not affect the main line. You can see more about it. There are still live fortune telling, and the content of exorcism is the main content. Thank you all readers for your support. Moi. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 112. Chapter 112, Returning to the Path of Cultivating Immortality. Pei Anzu looked at the jade bracelet on his wrist and was silent for a moment. This jade bracelet contains extremely rich spiritual energy. In the cultivation continent, it can be compared with high-grade spiritual stones. Generally speaking, it is also a good material for making various magical weapons. But in this world, they are just ordinary decorations on ordinary people. However, the old lady of the Feng family may have misunderstood her silence, so she spoke. Don't worry, keep this bracelet, it's not worth much, but it has been passed down for a long time. It can also be regarded as a medium of inheritance between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law of the Feng family. Originally, I should have passed it on to my daughter-in-law, but I've been used to wearing it for so many years, so I didn't want to part with it. Now that I've seen you, I'm really happy, and I think this bracelet is just right for you. Pei Anzu was speechless for two reasons. First, the bracelet, which is not worth much in the eyes of the old lady, is a treasure in Pei Anzu's eyes. Second, I was not willing to pass it on to my daughter-in-law before, so how can I be willing to pass it on to my future grandson-in-law who I just met now? It's nothing more than a few words. Heart is filled with joy. This reveals the subtext of the old lady of the Feng family. She didn't seem to like her daughter-in-law very much, so she didn't even give her the jade bracelet that symbolized the inheritance of her mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Look, this is a wealthy family. If Pei Anzu does not accept this bracelet, it means that she has rejected the kindness of the old lady of the Feng family. If she wants to live here to practice in the future, she is afraid that she will make this old lady unhappy. But if she accepts this bracelet, it means that she is naturally in the camp of the old lady. When she meets the Feng family's wife Yao Fangling in the future, she will inevitably confront her. It was a bit troublesome to choose anyone, but she never hesitated and immediately chose the one that was most beneficial to her. Thank you, madam, I like this bracelet very much and will take good care of it. Let's make the old lady in front of us happy first. As for future confrontations and troubles, let's use soldiers to stop them and water to cover them up. She is not a troublemaker anyway, but she is definitely not afraid of trouble. Seeing this, old Mrs. Feng nodded with satisfaction, and the smile on her face deepened. Good boy. I heard that you have just returned to the Pei family and have not appeared in the circle yet. After a few days, your identity will be made public, and I will send someone to the Pei family to recruit you. Don't worry, even though Jinglan can't wake up now, I will never lose the dignity you deserve. With my support, no one dares to look down on you. This is a girl with excellent horoscopes calculated by the master. It is the panacea that can revive Feng Jinglan, so naturally there can be no mistakes. Zhou Yelan was already laughing so hard that she couldn't even see her face. In her opinion, this old lady of the Feng family is sending out a signal every word. I am very satisfied with Pei Anzu, my eldest grandson-in-law, and I am also very satisfied with the Pei family's choice. The Pei family will benefit from it in the future. This visit to the Feng family had no other serious business. It was just that the old lady wanted to see Pei Anzu. Now that people have finished reading and God has finished chatting, it's over. Zhou Yelan stood up to say goodbye with a wink, and then left the Feng family with Pei Anzu. On the way out, Zhou Yelan asked Pei Anzu, "Have you seen the Feng family's background? This is just the tip of the iceberg they have revealed. If you can please the old lady and be by her side in the future, why worry about the rest of your life?" Hearing this, Pei Anzu asked, "Does that old lady from the Feng family live here all year round?" Yes, Zhou Yelan nodded. Then I'll fight for it and always be by her side, Pei Anzu smiled. The status, power, and wealth of the Feng family are like floating clouds in Pei Anzu's eyes. What she values is this treasure mountain and the spiritual energy on the mountain. But Zhou Yelan obviously misunderstood her meaning, and smiled when she heard the words. I know that no one will be unmoved as long as they have really seen her. Anzu, if you win the favor of the old lady in the future, don't forget the support of the Pei family. Although we signed the agreement, we can't write two words of Pei in one sentence. A family is of the same flesh and blood, sharing will and woe is the best story. Pei Anzu curled his lips but said nothing. She didn't believe a word of Zhou Yelan's words. Sharing honor and disgrace is simply a joke. For people like the Pei family, it's okay to be both prosperous and prosperous, but not to suffer both losses. If she could win the favor of the old lady of the Feng family and get benefits from the Feng family, the Pei family would probably swarm her like blood-sucking leeches. But once she was in trouble and had a bad life in the Feng family, the Pei family would throw the letter in her face, saying that they had nothing to do with each other. After returning to Pei's house, Pei Anzu immediately changed out of the 18,888 skirt and put on the light and comfortable casual clothes she bought herself. Then she locked the door, sat cross-legged on the bed, and started practicing. It uses the spiritual energy in the jade bracelet. The jade bracelet contains rich spiritual energy, which is enough for her to use for a long time. Her current Danshan meridians have just introduced qi into her body. With the help of these spiritual energy, it can at least help her grow to the middle level of qi refining. In fact, in this world, the quality of jade is not judged by aura, but by the type of water, green and purple, to determine its value. In other words, even if the spiritual energy in this jade bracelet is used up by her, its value will still remain unchanged in this world, and it will not affect its passing down from generation to generation as a token of the Feng family's mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. This is also the reason why she can safely mobilize her spiritual energy to practice. She practiced for 2 days in a row, and with her superb talent and proficiency, she was able to reach the first level of qi training. In the continent of cultivation, this kind of cultivation can barely be regarded as someone who has just stepped into the journey of cultivating immortals, and is just a rookie who can be killed with one slap. But here, her skills have surpassed many people who have been trained systematically. After all, cultivation and martial arts are two completely different dimensions. Pei Anzu woke up from trance. Looking at her growing cultivation, she felt joyful in her heart. However, she remembered that the 5th live broadcast time she had set was coming. She didn't want to broadcast live at Pei's house, lest her identity be revealed, so she opened the door and walked out, preparing to go to the Baikahu house. Arrived downstairs, Zhou Yelan and Pei Mingzu in the living room looked at her dumbfounded. You came down from upstairs. Yeah, what's the problem? Pei Anzu asked. In other words, you have been at home these 2 days? But you have never gone out to eat. Pei Mingzu's beautiful eyes were full of disbelief. They thought that Pei Anzu left after returning from the Feng family. I haven't seen anyone in the past 2 days, so I thought she was living outside. It's not like she has done this before, but I didn't expect to see her coming down from upstairs today. Yes, I have been upstairs, Pei Anzu nodded, but did not intend to say more. I have something else to do, so I will leave first. After saying that, she left the Pei family. Pei Mingzu's slightly admiring voice came from behind. Mom, Anzu is really determined to draw a clear line with us? She doesn't even want to take a bite of food because she doesn't want to owe the Pei family. Pei Anzu. She lost track of time after entering Samadhi, and on the path of cultivation, she was able to live without food, and she didn't feel hungry even if she didn't eat. But this reason is not humane to outsiders. This incident also reminded her that if she wants to meditate or do other things in the future, it is best to find a safe place where no one is around, so as not to attract too much attention. Dear readers, let me explain to you why the heroine chooses to get married. Mild spoilers. First, people in Taoism value cause and effect. She thought she had taken possession of the original owner's body and owed her debt. Now that the original owner's parents came to her door, she had to pay it back. Second, ascension requires breaking off the world. Although she came from another world, she is connected with the original owner. To a certain extent, she is the original owner. She has to repay her kindness and break her ties to earth before she can ascend smoothly. Third, as a Suanman boss, she is not forced, but voluntary. Because marriage is a relatively cost-effective thing for her, and it is something she finds acceptable after careful consideration. Otherwise, if the Pei family asks her to do other things, it may be more embarrassing for her than marriage. The above are the reasons why the heroine chooses to get married. P.S. In addition, those who like to read metaphysical fortune-telling, catch ghosts, and exorcise evil spirits, don't worry. Marrying someone is just an overkill. It is a reason for the heroine to change the map and upgrade. There are very few marriage and love scenes, and the hero is just a vegetative background lying on the bed. The heroine is pitiful, and the heroine purely pursues a career path, which does not affect her eventual ascension. P.S. Again. Many treasures choose to abandon the article just because the heroine wants to get married. They say that she, a big boss, is forced to get married, which is stupid or something. In fact, it is not true. Woohoo, so sad. This does not affect the main line. You can see more about it. There are still live fortune telling, and the content of exorcism is the main content. Thank you all readers for your support. Moi. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Real Daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Crisp Bone. Chapter 113. Chapter 113, the fifth live broadcast. The broadcast date will soon come. Pei Anzu was getting ready in his house in Baiki Lake community, put on a Nyo mask, opened the live broadcast room, and greeted the crazy influx of viewers. Hi, everyone, welcome to the Kingzu Fairy Lord live broadcast room. The host has not seen me for a long time, and I miss her very much. Kingzu Immortal Lord, last time I took our whole family to watch your live broadcast, and now our whole family is your fan. My grandpa said that at your age, to have such a cultivation level, you must be a disciple of some hidden mountain sect, and he also said that he would send me there to learn from my master. The fraud case reported on the internet in a place in Yuchen a few days ago is the same place where King Zuxianjun went last time. I can only say one thing, King Zuxianjuniabai. From this time on, every live broadcast will no longer necessarily count the 3 hexagrams, sad. You can also understand that if you only meet people who are simply telling fortunes, that's it. If you go around exorcising evil spirits and catching ghosts like before, there won't be enough 3 hexagrams in one day. In the live broadcast room, there are old viewers and fans who have followed since the first live broadcast until now, as well as new viewers who have been recommended by others and heard the news. With the precedent of Pei Anzu criticizing anti-fans and educating radical fans in the past few times, everyone gets along well with each other. Old fans even educate new audiences about Pei Anzu's past great achievements. Pei Anzu watched them chatting lively on the barrage, but he was still drawing symbols. Until someone asks, "King Zhu Fairy Lord, have you settled the online store matter? When can I buy charms?" "It's almost time," Pei Anzu replied. "At present, the online store registration review has been completed, and the basic procedures are in place. We just need to put the products on the shelves. I will let you know when I'm done." While we were chatting, the special effects of a sea view villa appeared on the screen, and today's destined person came to the door. The other party took the initiative to open the video connection. After Pei Anzu connected, he heard the voice of a young girl, panicking and asking for help. "King Zhu Immortal Lord, can you save my friend? She seems to be entangled in something. I've been pestering her for several days, but in the past few days she just behaved a little strangely and often talked to herself, but today she climbed to the rooftop and was about to jump off." With the urgent cry for help, Pei Anzu and all the viewers in the live broadcast room turned their attention to the lens of the destined person. The name of this destined person is "I will not change my name until I write a new book." You can tell at a glance that she is a high school student, and the background of her live broadcast room also proves this. At this time, she was on a high school campus. She held up her mobile phone and pointed it at the rooftop of the high-rise building. On the outer wall of the teaching building, there were bright red slogans such as "Educated and Thinking Thoughtfully" and the like. There are 5 floors in the teaching building. On the rooftop of the top floor, there is a girl in school uniform standing. She is listless and crazy. She is waving her hands as if to push people away, and she keeps shouting, "Go away, I don't know you, why are you pestering me? I have no grievances against you, why do you want to harm me? I still want to study and take the college entrance examination. Can you please leave? I beg you." On the 1st to 4th floors of the teaching building, the corridors were full of students, all looking up. Seems to be looking at who the person who wants to jump off the building is. On the ground below the teaching building, the firefighters have arrived and laid a thick layer of inflatable mattresses. Firefighters also climbed to the top of the building to try to save the crazy little girl. The audience in the live broadcast room has already learned to answer questions. Is this little girl a ghost? Haunted by a ghost? 80% yes, and judging from what she said, there's more than one ghost. What happened? This little girl is young and has not done anything bad that is not allowed by nature. Why do you bother her like this? I hope the firefighters can save her. With such a vivid life, young and perfect, about to take the college entrance examination, and a future full of hope, is it not worth it to die? Collapsed? If you are haunted by ghosts for a long time, you may become mentally ill and may not want to live anymore. Strange, why can't we see the ghosts around her? Is it because of the live broadcast room? That shouldn't be the case. We can see ghosts in King Zhuxianjun's live broadcast room. Isn't her live broadcast room the only one that is special? Pei Anzu looked at the live broadcast room of "I will not change my name until I publish it," and found that the firefighters' rescue measures were in place, and that the girl who was about to jump off the building was not destined to die, so she breathed a sigh of relief. She then responded to what her fans said. There are indeed ghosts around her, and there are quite a few of them. There are at least 7 or 8 of them now, and there may be more that haven't appeared yet. This girl is very special. She has a strong karma with these ghosts, so those ghosts will find her. As for why you can't see. Because ghosts and spirits have no entity, except for some special groups of people, they are not visible to the naked eye, let alone those electronic devices. But I have a special status, so my live broadcast room is also special. If I am there, you can see those ghosts through my live broadcast room. There are some people in this world who have special magnetic fields. Some people can see ghosts with their naked eyes. Some people, even if they cannot see it with the naked eye, can see ghosts in photos or videos through the way they are photographed. But most ordinary people cannot see either. This is why, during Pei Anzu's previous live broadcast, the audience could not see the ghosts appearing around the customers, such as the golden hair of Krypton Money Changes Life and the female ghost next to Lo Niang Shan Shan. But when Pei Anzu appeared on the scene, the audience could see the existence of ghosts through her live broadcast room, such as the century-old resentful ghost encountered by adventurer Xiao Ying, the school's pen fairy ghost, and Mo Shang Xiao Xiao US Ghost King husband. The same thing happened this time. Pei Anzu was not at the scene, and the ghosts around the rooftop could not be photographed through the camera. Which school are you in? Pei Anzu asked. I swear I won't change my name until I take the next book, tell me the address and I will come over right away. The situation your friend encountered is very complicated. If it is not solved completely, even if he is saved this time, without her, she will still be haunted by those ghosts until she dies. I am in Panchinj, Deu District, Mao County, number 1 Senior High School. I vow not to change my name until I study in a new book, said with a trembling voice. She was frightened by what Pei Anzu said, and she hoped that he would come to save her life quickly. Anken. Pei Anzu murmured, send me your phone number in a private message. I will contact you when I arrive. You may need to take me to find this friend of yours. Okay, please hurry up, the other party agreed. At this moment, the viewers in the live broadcast room flooded their screens and begged. King Zhu Fairy Lord, can you turn off the live broadcast? We want to keep watching. Are you far from Panchinj? Is it going to be like the previous Hanjiakan crackdown on counterfeiting and turn off the live broadcast again? Could you please let us continue watching for a while? Please, don't force us to buy tickets to see the live version. Pei Anzu did not object directly. She said, you don't have to turn off the live broadcast. I will carry an external mini camera with me, but when I feel that you should not watch anymore, I will still turn off the live broadcast. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 114. The live broadcast will not be turned off for the time being, so that all viewers can rest assured. It just so happens that these 2 days are weekends, and many people don't go to work on vacation. They can squat in the live broadcast room for a long time to watch the follow-up, and want to know for the first time why some people are haunted by so many ghosts. Pei Anzu simply packed up his things. There was no need to bring a big suitcase. She only carried a backpack, which contained talismans and magic weapons, as well as her mobile phone and keys. The talisman was drawn by myself. The magic weapon is the compass and chain that were confiscated from the 2 swindlers in Hanjiakan last time. Since they cannot be sent back to Shiyungan for the time being, they are taking them with them for use. Pei Anzu planned to drive to the airport, but as soon as he arrived at the underground garage, he was stopped by a man in a suit. Master, I am the driver and bodyguard of the Qin family. Sir knows that you are going to Panchinj, so he specially ordered me to see you off. A helicopter has been arranged at the airport. The route has been applied for long ago and will take off immediately. Pei Anzu looked at this man and found that he looked familiar. He had indeed seen him next to Qin Mingxiu last time. Let's go then. Pei Anzu nodded, and then got into the car under the guidance of the driver. Pei Anzu probably knows what these wealthy and powerful people think. After knowing that she is indeed a master with real skills, they will definitely send dedicated people to guard her live broadcast room. The purpose is to be able to understand her movements, so that when she needs it, we can provide her with help at any time and get closer to her. Just like now, knowing that she was going to Panchinj, the Chin family immediately sent someone. She had no doubt at all. She probably sent someone from the Shen family, but because she lived in a house donated by the Chin family, the Shen family was a step slower. The reason why the Chin family arranged everything so quickly is also related to the eldest daughter of the Chin family, Qin Xiao. After the last wedding incident, Qin Xiao announced that she was going to a branch in another place to practice in order to avoid the limelight, and the place where she practiced was Panchinj. In order to make it easier for Qin Xiao to travel between Yunchinj and Panchinj, the Qin family has naturally prepared private planes en routes for the convenience of their eldest daughter. Now, it is convenient for Pei Anzu. Panchinj is located on the southwest border of the Dragon Kingdom. It is small in area and very remote. There are hundreds of thousands of mountains entrenched within the territory. The transportation is inconvenient and the economy is backward. Today, when the Dragon Kingdom is strong and prosperous, there are still some mountainous areas in Panchinj, and poverty has not yet been lifted. All in all, this is a small place that is not very developed. Refers to Mao County in Dao District, which is even more famous as a poor mountainous area and impoverished county in Panchinj. Even though she said number 1 senior high school, there is actually only one high school in the local area. The entire high school is only a 5-story teaching building, and all the high school students in the district and county combined only have more than 1,000 students. In such a small place, there are actually 7 or 8 ghosts stalking a female student at the same time. How could it be possible if there is nothing fishy about it? Pei Anzu frowned slightly, thinking about the scene he just saw in the live broadcast room. The 7 or 8 ghosts surrounding the female students are all female ghosts, with ferocious faces, horrible death conditions, and full of resentment. There is also a causal connection between the female students and them, which is intriguing. Just as she was thinking about it, Pei Anzu's phone rang with several WeChat notifications. She clicked on it and saw that it was from MRS Pei Zhou Yelan. The Pei family will hold a cocktail party in a while, reveal your identity, and introduce you to the circle, so we must prepare in advance. I will send you a few pictures, you can see what style of clothes you like, and let me know when the time comes. The designer will send you a few more pieces. There were many rich and famous people coming and going that day, so we can't lose face. There are many photos of clothes below for Pei Anzu to choose from. Pei Anzu only glanced at it and was not interested. She was afraid that the reception time arranged by the Pei family would conflict with her schedule. If she hadn't come back by then, it would be bad, so she replied. You can take care of the clothes, as long as you can wear them, you don't have to ask me. In addition, I am leaving Yunchinj for a trip. The return date is uncertain, but it will not exceed a week. This is a reminder to the Pei family not to hold any cocktail parties within a week, as she won't be able to make it. At the airport, under the leadership of the Qin family driver, Pei Anzu went directly to the private helicopter and was respectfully invited onto the plane. The driver of the Qin family also went up together. He said to Pei Anzu respectfully, "Sir, you have asked me to follow you when you go to Panchinj this time and help you run errands at any time. Moreover, Panchinj also has some business and connections of the Qin family, which is more convenient." Pei Anzu knew that this was the Qin family's good intention, so he did not refuse and only asked, "How may I address you?" "My name is Wang Kui, you can just call me Xiao Wang, sir, they all call me that," the driver said. "Call brother Wang," Pei Anzu said, "thank you for accompanying me on this trip. When the matter is finished, I will give you 2 talismans. Don't worry, your husband and wife will not be missed. The master's talisman is not an ordinary talisman. The advantage is that Wang Kui is more sincere in doing things. At this time, even Qin Mingxiu and He Junru, who were watching the live broadcast in front of the computer, smiled with satisfaction. As expected, it is useful to make friends with Master Pei. At this time, the audience in the live broadcast room also exploded, and the barrage kept flooding the screen. What do I see? Private plane. I won't say who is so envious. I have also thought about the days when I have a driver to pick me up when I go out, and I have a private jet wherever I go. So Kingsu Immortal Lord is a wealthy daughter, right? Being so rich and capable, what window has God closed for her? Cow, ox, ox. So if you don't live broadcast fortune telling well, do you have to go back and inherit the family business? Isn't it? How on earth do you know that Kingsu Immortal Lord is the daughter of a wealthy family? That driver is obviously not from her family. As soon as he came up, he introduced himself, the driver of the Qin family. I remembered. The Ghost King's wife last time seemed to be named Qin. Even if she is not her own driver, the fact that she can get along so comfortably with the Qin family proves that she is worth a lot, right? Don't make any noise, why not just enjoy the scenery of the private plane quietly? How many opportunities will you have in your lifetime to see what the inside of a private jet is like? That's right. The discussion among netizens in the live broadcast room was lively. Amidst the roar of the plane, Pei Anzu slowly closed his eyes to rest. Only the mini camera pinned to his collar dutifully took photos of a corner inside the plane. But this corner alone is enough to drive all the viewers in the live broadcast room crazy. For example, the airplane seats are specially customized by a well-known international brand and cost 6 figures each. Another example is that the tea set on the table is produced by the famous Longguo Kill and made by a national treasure-level porcelain master, and for example, netizens are all sharp-eyed, but in just 2 hours, they stripped away all the decorations and equipment inside the private jet. Finally, I can sum it up in one sentence: trench. It's simply too trenchant. 2 hours later, the private plane landed at the only airport in Panjshir. This place is still more than 30 kilometers away from the city, which shows its remoteness. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 115. Chapter 115 The Girl from the Mountains. With the driver from the Qin family here, Pei Anzu saved a lot of trouble. Wang Kui had already contacted Panjshir when he was on the plane. Someone had driven the car to the airport and was waiting for him early, so Pei Anzu didn't have to rent another car and so on. So as soon as she got off the plane, she got on the transfer bus and headed all the way to Mao County. She started broadcasting at 9 in the morning, received the commission of "I will not change my name until I publish this book" at 9:30, and then took a bus, a flight, and another bus. After several rotations, it was already past 3 in the afternoon when we arrived in Mao County. The number of viewers in the live broadcast room is not large anymore, because no one can endure such a long and extremely boring live broadcast. Everyone went to do their own things. Only a few otakus and otakus were watching live broadcasts and watching videos at home, waiting for Pei Anzu to show off his power. Arrived in Mao County, Wang Kui found a hotel 2 blocks away from the high school to settle down. "Master, you have been working hard for so long, do you want to rest first?" "No, I've slept on the plane and in the car, and I'm very energetic now," Pei Anzu said. "I have to go do something, so you don't have to follow me all the time. I will tell you if I need it." Wang Kui nodded, withdrew with a wink, and was lost in the crowd. Being a bodyguard or driver in a wealthy family requires you to have this kind of emotional intelligence. Everything is based on the employer's wishes. If Pei Anzu doesn't want him to follow, naturally he can't, but he can protect him secretly. After all, the safety of the master is still very important. What's more, he also has to ensure that he can appear as quickly as possible when the master needs him, so that he can embody the professional qualities of a qualified worker. Pei Anzu tidied up his appearance so that he looked like an ordinary college student, without anything out of the ordinary, and then went to Mao County No. 1 Senior High School. At the school gate, she contacted, "I vow not to change my name until I read a new book. I'm at the gate of your school, can you come out and have a chat?" Yes, the other party seemed to be waiting for her and replied immediately, "I have been watching your live broadcast room and knew you were coming. I will wait for you at the milk tea shop near the school." Having said that, he also sent his location. Pei Anzu took a look and saw that the milk tea shop was only 300 meters away from her. It took her 2 minutes to walk there, and then she opened the door and entered, only to see that it was deserted inside. There was no boss or clerk, and no customers buying milk tea. There was only a girl in school uniform sitting there, waving to Pei Anzu. "Kingzu Immortal Lord, here." Pei Anzu walked over and sat down in front of her. He looked up at the school badge hanging around her neck. It read, "Senior Grade 2, Class 2, Song Suero." "Hello, classmate Song." Pei Anzu said hello, then looked around with a smile. "I didn't expect this milk tea shop to be very quiet, with no one around." Song Suero seemed a little embarrassed and explained, "This is basically a student business. Today is Saturday, the first year of high school is on holiday, and the second and third year students are all in class now, so the store is relatively deserted. I saw no one there, so I gave the store manager and others a day off." "So, this store belongs to you?" Pei Anzu raised his eyebrows. "Well, it's owned by my family," Song Suero said. "I thought I'd wait for you to come over at school. I don't want to go too far, and it's more convenient to talk in my own store." She is a smart girl who can think so thoughtfully at a young age. Just when Pei Anzu and Song Suero met, the number of viewers in the live broadcast room gradually increased. At first, a fan accidentally glanced at the live broadcast room and found that Kingzu Xianjun had arrived at the gate of the high school. He immediately called friends on various platforms and asked everyone to come and watch. Suddenly, the live broadcast room became very lively. "It's coming, it's coming." After waiting for so long, the main film is finally about to start. This is the first time I spent 6 hours in a live broadcast room just to watch the follow-up. I admire my own patience. "Quasi spicy tiaofiazai happy water is ready, please tell your story." I have a feeling that things will not be too small this time. Hush, everyone is quiet. Neither Pei Anzu nor Song Suero had time to pay attention to the barrages in the live broadcast room, because what they wanted to talk about now was the girl who almost jumped off the building in the morning. "Can you tell me about her?" Pei Anzu asked. "First, tell me everything you know and can say. Only in this way can I help her most efficiently." Song Suero took a deep breath and seemed to be thinking about where to start. After a long time, she spoke quietly. "Panchanj is located on the border, very remote and very poor. There are hundreds of thousands of mountains here, and there are many unknown villages in places that are not accessible by cement roads. The people in the village are very poor. They can only live on the 1/3 of an acre of land around them throughout their lives. The harvest of crops depends entirely on God's reward. They can live well in good years, but they can't eat enough in bad years. Due to inconvenient transportation, those places cannot even communicate with the outside world. Compulsory education has not yet been fully popularized, and even language communication is a problem. My friend, the girl who almost jumped off the building in the morning, is a member of this kind of village. Her name is Wang Pan'er, and she is a poor student supported by our family." The name Wang Pan'er sounds pretty good, but when you think about it carefully, you may find it difficult to understand. Pan'er, Pan'er. That is the desire and expectation for a son, and it is a manifestation of a family's preference for sons over daughters. Wang Pan'er has lived a hard life since she was a child. Because she is a girl, she is used as a livestock by her family. She does laundry, cooking, cleaning, cutting pig grass, chopping firewood, etc. Any work that needs to be done in the countryside can be done after she can walk. By that time, it had already started. But she is lucky. By chance, she met a member of the geological expedition team who was lost in the mountains and was hungry and thirsty. By guiding him and finding wild fruits to quench his thirst, she successfully made him a favor. Later, under the leadership of Wang Pan'er, the team member found the main force and met Song Suero's father, Song Yunbin, the head of the geological expedition team at the time. Song Yunbin saw that the little girl was ragged and skinny. During the conversation, he saw that she wanted to change the current situation, so he decided to sponsor her. It was at this moment that Wang Pan'er's fate began to change. Song Yunbin knows very well that real support is not to give money directly, because even if a family like this provides money and materials, these things may not be able to be used on the little girl. So, Song Yunbin paid several years of tuition and accommodation fees directly at the school in the town, asking the school to bring Wang Pan'er to study. Only by reading can you change your destiny, find a new way out, and avoid being trapped in the ravine of a remote country all your life, like a frog in a well. At first, the Wang family did not want Wang Pan'er to study. They felt that if Wang Pan'er went to study and could not come back for a long time, the family would lose a labor force. But the school said that if you study well, you will get a scholarship. For the sake of money, Wang Pan'er had the opportunity to go to school. She was also smart and knew that this opportunity was hard to come by, so she studied very hard. It was in the primary school in the town that Wang Pan'er met his benefactor's daughter, Song Suero. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 116. Song Suero's hometown is in Kangcheng. Her family is very well off and she is a famous scholarly family. Logically speaking, with her family background, she should receive a better education in a more prosperous place, instead of studying in a remote county like Panjinj. But her parents are both members of the geological expedition team and travel all over the country all year round. Every time they go to a certain place for inspection, if it is worth staying, they will stay there for a year and a half, or even 2 or 3 years. In order to work and spend time with their daughter at the same time, they took Song Suero with them to take care of her. After all, a family like theirs has a relaxed atmosphere and does not require their daughter to have academic performance as her main goal. She only needs to live a happy life and have her own ideals and pursuits. They hope that their daughter can see more of the world, so they take their daughter with them wherever they go. Under such circumstances, Song Suero went to school in Panjinj and met Wang Pan'er. The two little girls are very good. Wang Pan'er knew that Song Suero was the benefactor's daughter. She had a heart to repay her kindness, fearing that Song Suero was proud, had never lived independently, and was not used to living in school dormitories, so she often helped her. Fetching water, cooking, washing clothes, helping her tidy up her bedroom, or sweeping the floor, these are all things she is used to doing at home, and she doesn't feel any hardship or tiredness at all. At the time when Song Suero had just left family care and was living alone at school, it was Wang Pan'er who helped her get used to such a life and gradually adapt to it. As for Song Suero, she also knew that Wang Pan'er was a poor child sponsored by her family. She received a good education from her parents and knew that everyone is born equal, and her good life comes from the efforts of her ancestors and parents, not how great she is. Therefore, she does not feel that she is superior to others, nor does she look down on Wang Pan'er. Even in school, when other children from the town looked down on Wang Pan'er who came from the mountains, or ridiculed her for being poor, Song Suero would stand up to defend her. The friendship between the two little girls was forged under such circumstances. This time, Song Yunbin and his wife stayed in Panjin for a long time, a full 6 years, so that Song Suero finished primary school here and entered junior high school with Wang Painter. When Song Suero was in junior high school, her parents ended the project and were transferred back to Kangcheng. So, Song Suero transferred to Kangcheng to study in junior high school, but she did not break off contact with Wang Painter. She left her phone number and mailing address for Wang Painter. The two little girls make a phone call almost every week to tell each other about their studies and life. They also write letters to each other to maintain friendship. Wang Painter would go out to work part-time for others during her free time during the holidays, and the money she earned would buy some small gifts for Song Suero and send them to her. Song Suero will search for all the tutoring exercise books and exercises on the market and give them to Wang Painter so that the other party can have more learning materials. After graduating from junior high school, Song Suero's parents returned to Panjin again because of a geological project. Originally, they didn't plan to bring Song Suero here this time, because she was about to enter high school and the teaching quality in Kangcheng was still better. What if her daughter wanted to get into a better school? But at Song Suero's initiative, she returned to Panjin, so she reunited with Wang Painter in high school, and the two became classmates and even roommates. The feelings between the two girls have never changed. They know each other's wishes. Wang Painter wants to be admitted to a key university, go out of the mountains, go to a wider world, gain more experience, and give her life a new possibility. Song Suero didn't want to take any key points in the exam. She could just take an ordinary exam, as long as she didn't lose the Song family's scholarly status. Two girls encouraged each other and supported each other to move forward in high school. Wang Painter works harder than before. She knew that her opportunity to study was hard-won, and she also knew that if she failed to get the scholarship and give it to her family, the whole family of vampire relatives would make a fuss in the school and prevent her from continuing to study. The accident happened about half a year ago, during the summer vacation of my second year of high school. After Song Suero recalled her friendship with Wang Painter, she began to talk about what was wrong with her friend in the recent period. During the summer vacation of the second year of high school, our school had more than 20 days of vacation. My dad originally wanted to ask the teacher to give us 2 extra classes so that we could consolidate the knowledge we have learned and preview the knowledge for the third year of high school in advance. Painter originally agreed, but unexpectedly, her mother came and asked her to go back. Her mother said that Painter's cousin from the village next door is getting married soon and needs an unmarried girl to send her off, which is actually equivalent to a bridesmaid. People in the village don't know what a bridesmaid is. They only say that according to custom, there needs to be such a person. Everyone says that Painter is lucky. She can meet noble people in the mountains when she goes out, and she can be allowed to study. She can also get money from home every year. They also say that Painter studies well, and with her blessing, my cousin will be better in the future. The child he gave birth to will definitely be very promising. In this case, Painter was taken back to marry her cousin. The roads in the mountains are difficult to travel, there is no signal, there is no phone or internet connection. Painter and I lost contact for a while. During this time, it rained heavily in Panjin, and something happened in the mountains. Landslides, accompanied by mudslides, washed away several villages. I read news reports every day and am very worried about Painter's safety and afraid that something will happen to her. It wasn't until half a month later, when the heavy rain stopped and the disaster relief was over, that Painter appeared in front of me again. She said she was fine and was not injured in the disaster. But after that, something strange happened to Painter. She was always lost in thought. Sometimes the teacher would call her to answer a question in class, but she would have to call several times before she could hear her. She became careless, always forgetting to do her homework and forget to bring her scratch paper for exams. She used to love to stick with me. We ate together, fetched water together, studied together in the evening, went in and out together, but after coming back that time, She always avoided walking with me. I asked her what happened, but she always shook her head and refused to say anything in this case. Her grades dropped quickly. She was ranked first in her grade before, but later she slipped to outside the 50th place. It's a small place, and there aren't many people in the entire high school. Even if they're number one, there's still a gap between them and the top students in other prosperous areas, let alone 50. If this continues, how can she achieve her goal? I wanted to have a good talk with her and help her solve the problem, so I paid more attention to her every move. Then I found that she often talked to herself, sometimes went crazy, waving her hands, as if to drive away someone around her. Plant something invisible. Before, I just thought she was sick. I even called my father and asked him to send someone to ask for leave and take Panner to see a doctor in a big city, but Panner always refused. I had no choice but to search on the internet to find out what was going on with her, until big data pushed me a metaphysics live broadcast room. I accidentally clicked in and saw the video of you, Kingzu Immortal Lord, dealing with that ghost king. This incident inspired Song Suero. She felt that Wang Painter was not necessarily ill, but that she might have encountered something difficult to say, such as being haunted by a ghost. Therefore, during Pei Anzu's live broadcast today, Song Suero resolutely rewarded her with 1,000 yuan and asked for a chance to be saved for her good friend Wang Panner. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 117. After Song Suero finished speaking, she raised her head and looked at Pei Anzu with a hopeful look. Kingzu Immortal Lord, you can save her, right? Wang Panner is about to take the college entrance examination. After struggling for so many years, she finally arrived at the door that could change her destiny, and she was just about to cross it. What a pity it would be if she missed this opportunity because of these mysterious things. Pei Anzu knew that she would definitely be able to help, but Wang Panner's situation was a bit special, and she did not dare to speak too fully, so she said, "Take me to see her first. How to do it will only be known after we meet her." Hearing this, Song Suero stood up immediately. She was sent to the hospital. Everyone said she had a mental problem. We are going to do a few tests on her to see if she is mentally ill. I will take you there now. The two left the milk tea shop, and as soon as they arrived at the door, a car stopped in front of them. The driver was Wang Kui. He always pays attention to the live broadcast room and also pays attention to Pei Anzu's needs. Pei Anzu suddenly felt that if she could have such an assistant who was well versed in human relations, wouldn't it save her a lot of trouble? It seems that finding an assistant can also be included in her future plans. Pei Anzu and Song Suero got into the car, gave Wang Kui the address of the hospital, and the car headed towards its destination. Most of Mao County is mountainous, and the county seat is not large. In just 7 or 8 minutes, we arrived at the entrance of the hospital. Song Suero led the way and found Wang Painter's ward after twists and turns and pushed the door open. In small hospitals, there are no high-end single wards. Wang Panner lives in an ordinary ward with 3 beds in a room. However, there are opaque curtains between each bed, which can be regarded as retaining a certain amount of privacy for the patients. Wang Panner lives in the innermost hospital bed. The curtain covers her entire bed. Only when she walks to the bed can she be seen. She was awake, with her eyes open, lying quietly on the bed, her eyes filled with despair and death. It's like having lost the will to live and doesn't want to live anymore. Song Suero was shocked when she saw Wang Panner like this. In the past, Panner had always had a lot of fighting spirit. In order to get into college and escape from the mountainous area, there seemed to be an unquenchable fire in her body, and her ambition was burning brightly. But now, "Panner, I'm here to see you." Song Suero couldn't help but speak, and rushed to Wang Panner's bedside. "Don't give up, I've found someone to help you." Hearing Song Suero's voice, Wang Panner had some reaction. She turned her head slightly and whispered, You go, Swearo, thank you for your kindness, but no one can help me. I failed Uncle Song's expectations and his kindness in supporting my studies for so many years. I'm sorry for him and I'm sorry for you. But this is my fate, I am destined not to get out of the mountains. Song Swearo shook her head. She opened the curtain behind her and took a look. She saw that the person in the bed next to her was sleeping and snoring. She lowered her voice and said in Wang Pan's ear, "Did you encounter something unclean?" Wang Pan's eyes were shocked, and she looked at Song Sweao in surprise. "How did you?" "Don't worry about how I know it. If it's true, then the master I found will definitely be able to help you." After Song Swearo finished speaking, she introduced Pei Anzu to Wang Pan'er. "King Zhu, immortal lord, is very powerful, you have to believe it." I. Hearing this, Wang Pan'er's eyes burst with a light of hope. But when she saw Pei Anzu, her hope instantly turned into despair. Can such a young girl really have any great abilities? Pei Anzu threw an isolation note to isolate the sound of the bed, and then said, "There are a lot of female ghosts around you, right? 2 are standing at the head of your bed, 4 are standing at the end of your bed, 2 are floating above your head, and 1 is waving his teeth behind student Song. Am I right?" Hearing this, Wang Painter struggled to sit up from the bed, his face full of shock. "Can you see them? Can you believe me now?" Pei Anzu asked the question without answering. "Xin, I believe it, but how are you going to help me?" Wang Panner asked, and then said, "Is there any way to stop them from pestering me, but without hurting them?" Pei Anzu glanced around and said, "You should leave the hospital, it's not convenient to talk here, we'll find a solution after you get out. Although there are sound insulation, the sound insulation does not block the picture." There were people coming and going in the ward, and medical staff came in from time to time to check the ward. If they saw her and Song Swearo talking around here but couldn't hear the sound, it would inevitably scare others. Pei Anzu's few words gave Wang Panner motivation. She immediately struggled out of bed and begged Song Swearo to help her get discharged from the hospital. She tried her best to ignore the female ghosts following her around, and ignored the threats those ghosts made in her ears. "You can't get rid of us. We can't get out, and you can't get out either. What a joke, what if a young girl has some skills? I don't believe she can deal with so many ghosts like us. We will hide when she opens the altar to perform rituals. When she leaves, we will come out. You will only be with us for the rest of your life." The threats from the female ghosts were like knives piercing Wang Panner's heart. Her heart, which had finally been strengthened, was on the verge of collapse. Pei Anzu took a step forward and held her hand. "Don't be afraid." After the discharge procedures were completed, Song Swearo originally wanted to take the 2 of them back to the milk tea shop, but she thought that school would be over soon and there would be too many people to talk to. So Pei Anzu took them to the hotel arranged by Wang Kui, which was 2 blocks away from the school, not too far away. "Go back to the hotel room, close the doors and windows, and draw the curtains to make the whole room an independent and isolated space. Classmate Song, be prepared, I want them to reveal themselves," Pei Anzu said. Song Swearo subconsciously hugged Wang Panner's arm and shrank her body. Pei Anzu made a gesture and murmured a spell in his mouth. In an instant, the temperature of the whole room dropped sharply and became dark, and then there were several more figures in the room. These figures are translucent, surrounding Wang Panner, with hideous and terrifying faces. Although she was mentally prepared, Song Swearo was still startled. It took her a while to recover, and she asked in a trembling voice, "Panner, do you have to face so many, every day?" She didn't even dare to say the word ghost. "There are 9 ghosts in total, and the one seems to be the female ghost standing farthest away. She has the strongest yin energy and ghost energy." At the female ghost's signal, other ghosts began to take action and quickly surrounded the 3 living people, making it impossible for them to escape. Wang Panner saw this, shook his head with a wry smile, and said, "There are more than these 9, and sometimes there are more than a dozen ghosts at most, but they usually don't stay with me for too long. They only last for 7 days at most, and then there will be a new batch of ghosts. From the summer vacation half a year ago to now, I have seen a total of 36 ghosts." No one knows how much courage it took for her to tell the situation that had been troubling her in front of these ghosts. Because in the past, those ghosts wouldn't let her speak. Every time she wanted to ask Song Suero for help, the ghosts would threaten her and say they would kill everyone who knew about it. But now, the appearance of the Kingsu immortal lord gave her hope. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 118. Chapter 118, The Stinking Taoist Priest Who Aids the Tyrants. The leading female ghost looked at Wang Painter and sneered. "Do you think you can escape by finding a Suanman stinky girl? Let me tell you, stop dreaming, you will never be able to get rid of us in this life. Sisters, come together and teach them a lesson." As soon as the voice fell, the 9 female ghosts moved together and rushed towards the 3 of them with bared teeth and claws. When the female ghosts were collectively angry, the yin energy in their bodies grew rapidly, making the whole room feel like they were in an ice cellar, making people shiver involuntarily. The wind howled, accompanied by the long hair of the female ghosts flying. In this dark environment, it felt like being in an endless hell. Song Suero's cold teeth were chattering. Although she was very scared, she hugged Wang Pan'er tightly and protected her behind her. Only Pei Anzu's face remained normal, seemingly unresponsive to the surrounding environment. The siege by female ghosts was just a common performance for her. She took out a bunch of talismans from her bag and scattered them like a goddess scattering flowers. The fluttering talismans were flying and circling in the air, weightless, and seemed to float far away when blown by the wind. That's it, the leading female ghost didn't take these talismans seriously. But what I didn't expect was that under the blessing of Pei Anzu's magic formula, these talismans suddenly became as heavy as 1,000 pieces of stone. They fell straight from the air and fell to the ground, forming the word trap. With my words, the talisman traps all things, rise. As Pei Anzu finished speaking, a circle appeared under the feet of each female ghost. Whenever they tried to get out of the circle, their souls would be burned, causing a severe stinging sensation. The female ghosts cannot move, but Wang Painter and Song Suero can. The 2 of them hurriedly ran behind Pei Anzu. This slender figure looked particularly safe for some reason. When the leading female ghost saw this, her anger rose, and her eyes began to glow red. This was a sign that the evil ghost would arouse its ferocity and start killing people. "You stinky Taoist priests who help the tyrants to commit evil, today I will take you to be buried with you even if my soul is torn to pieces." After saying this, the eyes of the leading female ghost became more and more charming, and her hands gradually changed. Her nails grew longer out of thin air, and instantly became sharp murder weapons. She endured the severe pain, stepped out of the circle, and rushed towards Wang Pan'er menacingly. But Wang Pan'er was standing behind Pei Anzu. When she rushed over, the first person she met was Pei Anzu, but she saw Pei Anzu stretching out his right hand, with his index finger and together. Bind, fix. Subsequently, the circle that originally trapped the female ghost suddenly rose into the air and chased the original target, trapping the female ghost inside again. The aperture pulled the female ghost back to where she was, and then restrained her tightly, preventing her from moving. When the other female ghosts saw this scene, they were filled with hatred. "You stinky girl! You are indiscriminate and prevent us from taking revenge. Aren't you afraid of being punished by God?" Pei Anzu saw that these female ghosts had no room to resist, and finally listened to her properly. She spoke quietly. "I should be asking you this. Aren't you afraid that you will attack an innocent girl indiscriminately, pester her day and night, extinguish her vitality, ruin her future, and cut off her life, will I go to in the future and never be reincarnated? But, said the leading female ghost fiercely, she is innocent. She is not innocent. Her birth was original sin. If it weren't for her parents, we wouldn't have ended up like this. If you kill someone, you must pay with your life. Since we can't find her parents, it's the same as paying the debt of the father to the son, another female ghost also said. Pei Anzu didn't argue with them. She just stood there and silently recited a section of the King's In Sutra. There is no way to reason with an angry ghost. Sometimes, maybe something will stimulate them, completely arouse their ferocity, and make the human part of their souls disappear. So, Pei Anzu must first calm them down and create a condition where both parties can talk calmly. The verses of the Qing Heart Sutra were recited silently from Pei Anzu's mouth, and the shining golden symbols flew into the bodies of these female ghosts one by one. They slowly became calm, and their originally ferocious faces became calm. Until the end, I couldn't arouse any resistance. What exactly do you want to do? Asked the leading female ghost. If you want to kill or chop you, please do it quickly, don't take your time. Pei Anzu took Wang Pan'er and Song Suero to sit on the sofa, boiled water and made them hot tea to warm their bodies, and then asked the 9 female ghosts to stand in a row in front of them. I'm not trying to kill or chop him into pieces, I just want you both to sit down and talk. If you are unwilling to accept your grievances and want to take revenge, I have no reason to stop you. But before you take revenge, don't you have to find out who your enemy is? Even if you are a criminal, you still have the right to plead in court. Wang Pan'er is a teenage girl. She doesn't know anything, so she has to bear your hatred and anger. Isn't it a bit unfair? I am not the kind of Taoist who will kill ghosts whenever I encounter them, so I will give you a chance to express your grievances, and at the same time, you must also give Wang Pan'er a chance to explain. When the truth comes out and you want revenge, I won't stop you. The female ghosts who calmed down can now listen to her words well and no longer get angry and mad at every turn. Although they did not think that they had found the wrong enemy, they were willing to speak out their grievances and let the world know the truth about their deaths. Everyone else turned their attention to the leading female ghost. As the leader of this group of female ghosts, she naturally wanted to protect her sisters who trusted her behind her. So she paused and spoke first. The deaths of our group of people are all related to Wang Pan'er's father. Her father is the mastermind and her mother is the accomplice. Now that we can't find her parents, why not find her? A simple sentence is like dropping a bomb in front of everyone. Even the live broadcast room was abuzz. What? What the kind of truth is this? Wang Pan'er's parents, are they some kind of serial murderers? Killed so many women? Wang Pan'er said that she had seen a total of 36 ghosts. In other words, her parents killed more than just the 9 people in front of her. Have you ever wondered why all the people who died were girls? Stop talking upstairs, I suddenly have a creepy feeling, it's so scary. 100,000 mountains, a remote mountain village, a girl. What riddles are you playing? Why can't I understand? Don't ask, don't dare to say, I hope not, otherwise these girls will be so miserable. It's understandable that they work so hard to get revenge. Some people just regard all this as the excitement and fun of the live broadcast room. But some people have already sensed part of the truth from the geographical location of Panchinj and the few words of the female ghost. Pei Anzu did not refute the female ghost's words, but simply said calmly, "Tell me more details." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 119. Chapter 119 The Injustice of the Female Ghost. The female ghost headed by the leader looked at Pei Anzu quietly. She found that this young Taoist priest did not seem to be shouting and killing ghosts when he saw them, as she thought, but he really wanted to give them a chance to redress their grievances. So she calmed down and decided to tell everything to seek justice for the sisters. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Lu Fang. I died 16 years ago. 16 years ago, I was a student in the Department of Chinese Language and Literature at Songchen Normal University during my senior year as an intern. A few friends and I chose to teach in mountainous areas. In those years, Longguo carried out literacy campaigns and popularized compulsory education. In order to increase the attention of people in mountainous areas to education, it supported and encouraged young people to teach in mountainous areas. Lu Fang is one of them. She is a teacher majoring in Chinese language and literature, so she will naturally pursue a career as a teacher in the future. As graduation approached, she invited several friends who shared the same ideals, and the 5 girls came together to Mao County, Dao District, Panjinj, to support teaching in the towns under the county's jurisdiction. But they were outsiders and not familiar with the local area, so they chose to ask locals to guide them. It was when they were asking for directions that they met Wang Panu's father. His name is Wang Chuanzong. He is a man with fair skin and good facial features. He has an honest appearance and a simple and honest smile, which makes people trust him at first sight. Lu Fang and the others are just students who have just stepped out of campus. They do not have much social experience, and they are not alert enough to strangers. So, under the disguise of Wang Chuanzong's appearance, they got into a van, drank the water prepared by Wang Chuanzong, and then fell unconscious. When they woke up again, they found themselves in a remote village. The locals call it Yao Village. Yao Village is the village where Wang Chuanzong is located. It is located somewhere in the Shiwen Mountains. Traffic is blocked and it is not connected to the outside world. Except for a few locals who are familiar with the route, almost no outsiders know that there is a village here. Lu Fang and several of her friends were chained and locked in a pig pen. The pigsty was very smelly, and there were 2 big fat pigs raised nearby. There were also 2 fierce-looking dogs outside the pigsty, guarding the girls closely. No matter how stupid Lu Fang is, she knows that she is a kidnapper. She and a few friends wanted to escape, but whenever they made any movement, the 2 dogs would notice them, and they would bark, attracting people in the village. That's right, the entire Kill village belongs to Wang Chuanzong and his group. Although other people may not be involved in the trafficking process, they are bound to help guard, which means that the entire village is Wang Chuanzong's spy. Wang Chuanzong brought the 5 of them here just to sell them to the same villagers as wives. Those men in the village who cannot marry a wife are waiting to choose one of the 5 of them to go back and give birth to a son. How can they be allowed to run away? So, Lu Fang and the others found that they had tried again and tried every means, but they could never get out of the Kill village. Not long after, Wang Chuanzong held an auction in the village. 5 young female college students, whoever wants to buy them back to give birth to a son will bid, and the one with the highest price will get it. In just half an hour, they were sold out like goods and sent to different houses in the village. There were young and strong men, and there were also middle-aged old widowers. In short, they were moved from the same prison to different prisons, and they rarely had the chance to get together again. They were locked in different places, such as pig pens, dog houses, cellars, chicken sheds, etc. Only when the men vented their animal desires every day could they be released and gain a moment of freedom. Only those who are pregnant are eligible to wash themselves clean and obtain the right to live in the house. It's not like they haven't resisted or escaped before, but how could a young and frail girl be a match for men who have been doing farm work all year round? What awaited them was a crazy beating. Anything can be a weapon that fell on them: brooms, shovels, hoes, fire tongs. Over the years, no part of these girls' bodies is intact. But even so, they never gave in. Even though they know that they will live a good life as long as they are pregnant, they still don't want to be pregnant with the child of an animal. Whenever they find signs of pregnancy, they will deliberately provoke the pigs and dogs and let the animals hit them and cause them to miscarry. They don't want to give birth to a sinful child. This is the last dignity they have as human beings. In this period of dark life, I don't know how long it took, but a new group of female college students came to the village, giving them hope of escaping. Among the new girls, there is a girl named Chen 11. Let me tell you the next thing. I am Chen 11. Seeing Lu Fang mentioning herself, another female ghost spoke calmly. Everyone's attention instantly shifted to Chen 11, and they heard her say, I come from a family of traditional Chinese medicine. Due to my family's academic background, I have inherited it from my family since I was a child. I studied pharmacology in the Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine of a medical university in college. My lifelong ambition is to travel all over the country, looking for various Chinese herbal medicines recorded in ancient medical books, comparing them with today's Chinese herbal medicines, distinguishing their appearance and medicinal properties, and compiling a pharmacology book that is in line with modern medicine. I came to Mao County, Panchinj, to collect medicines. There are hundreds of thousands of mountains in the southwest, and there are countless rare treasures. Many precious medicinal materials only grow here. At that time, 2 senior students were going on a graduation trip. They heard that I was coming to Shiwanda Mountain to collect herbs, so they thought about traveling here, so they teamed up with me and came here together. We also met Wang Chuanzong. This time Wang Chuanzong changed his routine again. When he saw Chen 11 collecting medicine, he guessed their identities. They might be medical students, so he lied that he had ancestral ginseng and Ganoderma at home. Ginseng and Ganoderma are not particularly rare, especially for Chen 11, who also has such medicinal materials at home. But with 1,000-year-old ginseng and Ganoderma, even if Chen 11's parents and ancestors came, they would still be excited, so she and her 2 seniors were deceived by Wang Chuanzong into moving to the Kill village. Compared with Lu Fang and the others, who were brought in while unconscious, Chen 11 and the others walked in by themselves. They believed in a devil with the most innocent kindness in their hearts, and then step by step, they personally walked into the trap dug by the other party. When they entered Yao village, they didn't see ginseng and Ganoderma, but they saw villagers carrying hoes and shovels surrounding them. Girls were afraid of death and injury and did not dare to resist, so they could only become their prisoners. But Chen 11 did not sit still. She saw many plants near Yao village. In the eyes of ignorant villagers, these plants were just weeds, but in her eyes, they were all medicinal materials. As long as they are used properly, she may be able to use these inconspicuous grasses to make some medicinal powders that can be used for attack and defense. However, if you want to collect herbs without any scruples, you must first gain the trust of the villagers. Chen 11 and the 2 senior students thought carefully for a long time before formulating a plan that was not perfect, but was worth a try. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 120. Chen 11 and the 2 senior students pretended to be submissive and bowed to the people in Yao village. They suppressed their anger and grievances, swallowed all the pain and nausea, and dealt with the villagers in an attempt to lower their vigilance. This low-key gesture greatly pleased the villagers. They thought that these girls could not escape and could be released. But Wang Chuanzong, as a mastermind of trafficking, did not believe these girls. Every woman who was taken to the mountains had to go through at least severe beatings and imprisonment, and it would take a year and a half before she completely succumbed because they could not find a chance to get out. But what about Chen 11 and the others? Not long after arriving, he was only imprisoned for a few days, and he didn't even suffer any flesh injuries, so he just compromised like that. He didn't believe it, but he couldn't win over the villagers. Wang Chuanzong was making money, and the villagers were willing to take him home now, so he couldn't refuse anything, so he could only auction Chen 11 and the 3 of them. But before they were taken away, He also specially reminded the people in the same village. I'm afraid they are not sincerely obedient. You still have to keep your eyes open, but don't give them a chance to escape. Otherwise, the village will be destroyed and you will never be able to find a wife again. The villagers hurriedly agreed. Yao village has its own set of rules. Even if Chen 11 and the others are brought back, they seem to be free, but in fact they are still under surveillance. All the people in the village, countless pairs of eyes, were staring at them. But it doesn't matter, Chen 11 and the others never do unnecessary things, they only pull weeds outside every day. When asked, they just say that they are helping to do something, or they want to eat wild vegetables for a meal. The villagers didn't know herbal medicine and couldn't guess what they were doing, but Wang Chuanzong guessed it. After all, when he met Chen 11, he knew that she was studying Chinese medicine. This matter is related to whether he can continue to make a fortune on this road in the future, so his suspicion of Chen 11 and the others has never disappeared. Including every woman brought from outside in this village, he is always vigilant. After a while, one of Chen 11's senior students sacrificed her dignity and had a cowardly relationship with the man who bought her. Finally, she was fascinated by him and agreed to hold a wedding for her. This is what she told people. In our city, when every couple gets married, they have to hold a wedding ceremony and invite relatives and friends to witness it, so that they can live a long and happy life and have children and grandchildren. I sincerely live with you, so just fulfill my wish. Don't you want everyone's blessing? Also, I see that other women in the village are always disobedient and want to run away all the time. They are too ignorant. If you hold a wedding with me, let them see how caring the men in the village are and how much they value us. Wait. Once they realize the benefits, they will definitely stop running away. The senior sister's words deceived the man. Men are all about saving face. How could he not be willing to see such a young and beautiful female student sincerely willing to follow him and even hold a wedding? He wanted to let the whole village and even the neighboring village know how charming he was. Even the pretty girls from the city were conquered by him. Catalyzed by various reasons, the wedding went smoothly. Chen 11 also knew that the wedding was the best time for them to take action, because then the entire Yao village would gather together, and even relatives and friends from the next village would come. As long as they take advantage of this day and drug them, they will have a chance to escape. Wang Chuanzong, the trafficker leader, watched all this with cold eyes, watching their plan progress step by step, making them full of hope of escaping. But just a few days before the wedding, Wang Chuanzong brought back another woman. That woman has fair skin, smooth hair, and pretty features. She looks like a college student in the city. Wang Chuanzong introduced to the people of Yao village. This is the wife I found for myself. She is also from the city. She wants to see our wedding, so I will bring her to see it. After a while, I will do it again for her on this scale. Everyone praised Wang Chuanzong for being so good. Not only was he able to get wives for the villagers, but he also had a female college student follow him. It seemed that he was not forced. The time for Chen 11's senior sister's wedding is getting closer and closer. The three girls took the opportunity to get together and reviewed the plan they were about to implement over and over again. I've seen it. There are two wells in the village. Generally, villagers draw water from the well at the east end of the village because it's close. We store water in a pot in advance and put the medicine in the well water. When the time comes, whether they are drinking or cooking, they will need it. The road down the mountain is very difficult. Not only is the road rugged, but it is also easy to be spotted by people from nearby villages. These people are all the same, and we won't be able to walk by then. We are walking from the deep mountains. I have followed my family members to the mountains to collect herbs since I was a child. I have some experience in identifying directions in the mountains and surviving in the wild. We will definitely be able to go out if we avoid the main road. The only question now is, should we take anyone else with us? At this point in the discussion, the three girls were silent. They have a greater chance of escaping if they go alone, but if they take other abducted girls with them, they will take a lot of risks. It cannot be discovered by the villagers, and it is necessary to ensure that other people can keep the secret and not reveal the truth. Then let's save, Chen 11 Sr. asked, if you are sure to take others with you, then after I go back, I will find an excuse to make the man agree to bring them all together. What's the excuse? Chen 11 asked. Be a bridesmaid. The senior gritted her teeth. Let's make up some customs. They don't know the wedding customs in the city anyway, and it's not what I tell them to do. I said we need a few young girls to be bridesmaids. Maybe. There are no young girls in Yao village. Girls are thrown into the mountains to feed wild animals as soon as they are born, or they are drowned directly. There are almost no girls who grow up safely. Even if there are one or two here and there, they are trained as slaves in the family. When they are 15 or 16, they are married off in exchange for dowry. This bridesmaid excuse works. So, with senior sister Chen 11's pleas to be good and coquettish while holding back her nausea, the man who bought her agreed to let other girls come over to be her bridesmaids. This included the girl that Wang Chuanzong brought over later and was said to be his wife. A group of people gathered at senior Chen 11's man's home. Senior sister assigned them tasks on the wedding day in a serious manner, and seemed to be really preparing for the wedding. But in fact, the senior sister had already written a note, and took advantage of the moment of physical contact to stuff it into their hands to remind them of the plans for the wedding day. It also says, those who want to leave should wait until the villagers are knocked down by the medicine and gather at the entrance of the village. No one wants to leave. Everyone is abducted and has a bright future in the outside world with close family members. So, when they saw this note, everyone chose to keep it secret and wanted to follow along. They were looking forward to the wedding of senior sister Chen 11.